Finally, a primer that actually works. Hey everyone, okay, so I'm going to be talking you through some new primers. Now, as I've spoken before in videos, I've never been a fan of primers really. However, there are a few good ones that I've mentioned before that are really good. Hourglass make amazing primers, but in general, other than those, and the one I'm about to show you, never been a fan because I always find them quite heavy, and when I put foundation on, that looks heavier, and then the powder looks even heavier, and the powder doesn't really blend as well, so not a big fan. However, these are incredibly good. So I wanted to talk you through them because there's kind of an assortment of them and kind of tell you what they can and cannot do. So the new primers, and there are 10 in total, are by Makeup Forever. So they kind of go into two sections. This is the first section where you get to pick a primer for your skin type. So you may want one that's mattifying. So there's a matte primer. There's also a hydrating primer for drier skin. You've then got a nourishing primer, again for drier and very dry skin. You've got a correcting primer, obviously slightly green, and then you've got the smoothing primer, so which is good for people with fine lines, that kind of stuff. Out of these, the two that I tend to use the most is the mattifying primer if I want to create really matte skin on somebody, and obviously don't be then putting a really dewy foundation over it because it kind of defeats the purpose. So I use the matte one a lot. I also use the nourishing one a huge amount because I really like the nourishing and the kind of hydrating, because I really want there to be, you know, like a radiance to the skin. So they are incredibly good. Now what they do that is different from most primers is they create suppleness on the skin. They're not over silicone-y either, which is great. But they actually make your foundation look like you've got less on. Not less coverage, less makeup, which is a miracle, which is why I recommend them so great. Then you come into a section of color correctors. So you have like a blue, which is like a radiant primer. Then you've got a sort of apricot color. You've got a yellow. This one is very good for Mediterranean skin, it's slightly deeper skin. Caramel for deeper complexions. And then there's a pink. Now I tend to, as I mentioned, I like the hydrating and the nourishing ones the best. And then I kind of, the ones that I typically use the most would kind of be the apricot, the blue. The blue is really great if you've got a little bit of excess redness in the face. And the yellow is so wonderful for people with Mediterranean skin, caramel for darker skin. Now, in case you're wondering, you know, do I need them all? You absolutely don't. What you do is you pick and choose the one that's best for you. So pick one that you may need. So you don't have to get the color correctors if you don't want to. You may just want a primer that's going to make your makeup last longer and is hydrating. So you go for a hydrating one. Or if you've got very dry skin, a nourishing one. Or if you've got very oily skin, just go for the matte one. Or you may want to add a little bit of color correcting, whereas you can combine them, or just say you've got a little bit of redness in the skin and your skin's quite fair, so you might choose the blue. Or you have a much deeper complexion and you want a primer that's going to prolong the makeup but give you a hint of colour to correct any discolorations women of colour can have under the eyes or around the mouth, so you go for the caramel. It's that simple. This isn't sponsored because they're never going to sponsor me, but it's a really, really good product and one that I'm absolutely in love with. I really, really, really like it, and when I applied foundation over it, it just looked so immaculate, which it was like so little product on the skin, it just looked like skin. Amazing. Let me know your thoughts if you've tried it, and I will look forward to reading your comments. Don't forget to rate, you can share because that makes me happy, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.